Are you still wondering why there's delays in your twin flame journey? Are you wondering why they haven't come back? Why they're still running? Why they haven't chosen you? But ask yourself this question: have you chosen yourself? My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing, all the questions you ask on your journey: why are they running? Why are they not communicating? Why haven't they chosen me? Are all questions you need to ask yourself. This is the mirrored energy. You ask yourself those questions. What am I running from? What am I not choosing? Why am I not choosing myself? There's a reflection here. You know what I mean? We might think that we're ready for union. We've done a lot of healing. And one thing you'll know is the more healing you do, the more healing you've got to do. And it's funny as well, the phrase, the more you learn, the more you realize you have so much more to learn. It's the same thing with healing. And every time there's a delay in union, you have to ask yourself this, or ask the angels even for help. What do I need to heal? Where am I not choosing myself? And that was the big one for me. I kept asking myself, why isn't he choosing me? Why am I not choosable? Feeling rejected, putting my self-worth into his hands. And the more we put our energy into the outside, into them, nothing's going to align within. This is it. If you want to come to divine alignment in your twin flame journey, you have to come to an alignment within yourself first. This is inner union. And it all comes, this is it. You're not choosing yourself, and they're not choosing themselves. And that's the big one. And this is reflected. How do we choose ourselves? I was asked that question lately. You choose yourself by taking your power back, by owning your voice, by setting boundaries, by choosing your life. And this was a big one for me. I kept putting my energy outside. I was like, why isn't he choosing me? Am I not worthy? Am I not good enough? And this was it. I was draining myself. I was depleting myself, feeling so worthless because of the way he was behaving. And then I realized, I kept saying this to myself: he's not choosing me because I'm not choosing myself. And effectively what it really means is he's not choosing himself either. And how was he, how was I not choosing myself? And it came in a kind of epiphany one morning. I was like, wait now, I choose myself every single day. I get up every day and I share content. I've been doing courses. I've been progressing along in my coaching. I'm in a coaching group now. I do a Midweek Mindset Live. I was like, I'm choosing myself every single day by doing the things that are for my divine purpose. And I'm like, then what am I thinking? This was flipping a switch for me. And I was like, I was feeling unworthy, like he wasn't choosing me, and making myself feel depleted. And then I was reflecting it back, going, that's because I'm not choosing myself, because I don't think I'm worth choosing. And then I realized every single thing I do every day is me choosing myself. So then I realized it was actually a reflection of him not choosing himself. How do we not choose ourselves? And this is the thing. What we do when we're not choosing ourselves, we people please. We run around doing things for people who would not do the same for us. We say yes when we should be saying no. We're not choosing the life that we desire. We're not choosing our life purpose. We're not, that's it. You're choosing you means doing the things in alignment with your soul. That's what that is. Choosing to love yourself fully, choosing to do the healing required so that you become your best self. Now, this has nothing to do with union. What it has, inner union. You cannot expect, and this is the thing, we cannot expect our twin to love us fully if we don't love ourselves. It's a reflection. Everyone we meet is a reflection. You know what I mean? If we're not loving ourselves, we're going to expect everyone else not to love us. We're not, we don't think we're worthy or good enough. And then, it's hard, when twins are in separation, it's difficult. But when twins are actually in connection and I've heard that's one of the most difficult things to do, is when you get into union with your twin. And before any of the work is done. And I've seen this before, twins could be together for donkey's years, and it's only later on that they start the proper healing after the conflict happens. You know what I mean? So they effectively they don't go through physical separation, But the conflict is effectively a separation in a sense, because they're disconnecting from each other because they're not connecting with themselves. You can only connect more with your twin if you're in connection with yourself. This is the thing. We are our twin. Our twin is us, and that's it. You know what I mean? So if we're disconnected from ourselves, we're effectively disconnected from them in the connection. And we keep trying to fix them or even project towards them what they're doing wrong. And it all comes back to you. And this is the beauty of inner healing. Our healing will reflect into them. Not only will it reflect into them on a 5D level, they'll also be inspired by our growth and do that growth themselves. They'll see that it's worth it. And that's what we need to concentrate on. You know, I've seen this before. We're in such a rush to try and fix them and run after them and help them with their awakening and do everything for them that we lose ourselves. We completely, and I was losing myself. I was completely losing myself. I was losing my voice. I was acting like a teenage girl who had no power and letting it happen. You know what I mean? Initially I was blaming him, angry with him. Why is he treating me this way? And then I was like, no. Why am I allowing myself to be disempowered? Because that was it. Like, you know, it's not all his fault. It was me letting this happen. And, you know, I just, like, anytime I see a repeated pattern, I'm like, I'm done. You know what I mean? And it's like, whoa. Like, you know, it's funny because I was like, the first time it happened, it's like, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this again. And then I forget about my boundaries and let it happen again. And then I forget about my boundaries again and then let it happen a third time. And I'm like, no, 3 times a charm. I am not doing this again. And that's when I take my power back, or when I realize this is a pattern that I have to change. You can't expect your twin to change the pattern, because you're literally saying to your twin, I'm allowing this behavior to happen, so come and treat me like shit because I don't respect myself. You know what I mean? That's effectively the energy you're giving. Whereas if you take a step back and take your power back, you're saying, I won't be treated like shit, do your healing or just go away, like. And that's effectively it, like, you know, meet me at my level because I'm not going back down. And that's what we do. We're doing the growth, we're doing the healing, we're doing our work, we're on our purpose path, and then we let ourselves go back down to disrespecting ourselves and, you know, not being empowered because of their behavior. And it's like we're blaming them, and then we're not actually taking ownership, because everything we do is our responsibility. You know what I mean? So anyone else's behavior is effectively our responsibility to change. Well, they have to change it as well. But if you put up with it over and over again, they're going to keep doing it over and over again. That's you not choosing yourself. And how do you expect, like I said this before, how do you expect them to choose you if you don't choose yourself? How do you expect them to choose themselves if you're not choosing you? Because your empowerment is their empowerment. So remember that. Like you keep asking yourself why they're not doing the work. Why haven't they healed? You know, you go chase them again and it's the same energy. And it's just like, why isn't anything changing? Because you're still in chasing mode instead of receiving mode. And like, you know, receiving your own love. You know what I mean? Like, and you're disempowering yourself because you're in an energy of wait, and you're in an energy of when are they going to come back? You're staring at your phone, you're looking at the time constantly, all this kind of stuff. You know, what I did for my phone anyway, I changed my ringtone, my message tone for my twin flame, because every time when I was in the low energy and in this waiting energy, this puppy dog teenage energy, every time my phone went off, I was like, oh, is it him? Is it him? And I was just like, oh, grow up. Seriously. So I just changed the ringtone. And now when my phone goes off, it's like, I don't be like, oh my God, is it him? Do you know what I mean? And now if it, like, you know, so like, that's the thing. You take the steps to remove this longing, this pining, this desperation energy. That's what it is. And why is it? It's because of our own self-worth. We're literally looking for them for that validation. We're seeking outside ourselves for love, and love can only come from within. And this, to me, always boils down to your wounded inner child. If you don't do that inner child healing, You don't start to, like, me personally, for me, like, inner child healing transformed my life. It really did. It's only in reparenting her and loving her was I able to love myself and choose myself again. And it's a constant ongoing journey because I do relapse at times, you know, and I did let my energy be taken away from me again. I let it be outside myself. And, you know, one of the hardest things I had to do, because like, oftentimes it was my twin to ghost me when he needed space. The last time I ghosted him, and that was hard. Oh my God, that was so hard. Like, you know, when you actually take that power into your own hands, you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? What if I never see him again? But you have to trust the process. And you have to trust that you are doing this to gain your power back. How are you supposed to expect him to come into his divine masculine energy if you're not in your divine feminine energy? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. You know what I mean? And like, you know, I was healing. I was going on my purpose path. But every time I allowed my energy to be depleted by, you know, not using my voice or not setting boundaries, I just got weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. You know, I don't want to be in a codependent relationship again. This is the whole thing we're trying to heal from. We've been in toxic codependent relationships our whole fucking lives. You know what I mean? The whole objective is to remain independent within a loving relationship. This is our biggest goal. And how can we do that if we're in this piney codependent energy? And I'm sorry, but that's the way I was. I was literally in that codependent energy again, doing the thing I didn't want to do. One of our biggest fears in getting into a relationship again is losing ourselves. So if we're not using our voice, if we're not speaking our truth, if we're not setting boundaries, we're effectively losing ourselves. So I will not allow that to happen again. So I needed to come back and take my power back. You know, and it's still difficult for me because like there's times when I'm like, oh my God, maybe I should reach out. But it's like, no, because I'm not going to disempower myself again by allowing his immature, avoidant behavior. It's that simple. Unless he does the healing and comes towards me with, you know, good behavior, that's, you know, I'm not going to let that energy into my life again. I deserve better than that. And now I know that. And that's why we choose ourselves. That's why we bring our power back. That's why we take that step into our life purpose, our dreams, our goals. But our healing, our inner healing is so important. They can't fix us. You know, their love is not going to fix you. Your love is going to fix you. You know, and their love for themselves will fix the connection as well. This is it, like, your connection will become harmonious when you both love yourselves fully, which is effectively loving them fully. Because that's another thing. If you don't love yourself fully, you're not loving your twin fully. And, you know, I've said this before as well. How can you forgive your twin if you don't forgive yourself? How can you choose your twin if you don't choose yourself? How can you love your twin if you don't love yourself? How can you be in divine union if you haven't got that inner union? If you're still in those energies of codependency, fear, lack of self-worth, desperation, needing their love to feel validated, it's not going to work. It all starts with you choosing yourself, doing the inner work required, following your life purpose. This is so important. So to come into divine alignment in your relationship with your twin, you need to come into divine alignment within yourself first. Inner union happens before outer union. That's a fact. Choose yourself so that your twin can choose themselves. And, you know, that's what it is. It's making, and that's another thing, it's making those hard decisions. This is how you choose yourself as well. Make the hard decisions to walk away from what no longer serves you. Say goodbye to people and situations that are holding you back. This is a really big one, especially when it comes to family dynamics or friendship dynamics that don't understand this connection or don't understand your spiritual awakening journey. You have to let go of the people that are keeping you stuck in the old reality in order to embrace your divine reality. So that's another way you choose yourself, by saying yes to yourself and no to others. You know what I mean? This is so important. Setting those boundaries, speaking your truth, living your life for you. This is what it's all about. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today. I'd love nothing more than to help you in your path.